All right, good morning, everyone. I wanted to introduce you to June, who you hear in my videos sometime. Yeah, they hear you. Yeah, they do. And so this is my puppuccino. And all right, so let's get talking stocks. All right, is that good for you, June? Oh, it's so boring. I'm gonna let her go and sleep behind me. Okay. So, anyways, y'all, uh, this morning I wanted to not just mark up the S&P, which is the asset that I've been primarily trading. I put myself on this bit of a probation because, and it's been nice. I haven't enjoyed it, but I know I needed it because I was trading a lot, and trading one asset really forces you to wait for the moves. So if I miss a move on the S&P, then I have to just sit, and it sucks sometimes. And sometimes I'll go and try to put on a little trade when I'm not supposed to, and definitely pay for it. So I have been learning a lot just through this little experiment. So I'm about this is gonna be my fourth weekend. So I might extend it for another few weeks, or just fold in a few stocks. But let's get to it. Why I wanted to talk to you about stages again, I talk about this a lot, is because where a price stock or index is in its cycle is super important. It helps you stay in a trade, not get in too early, and not also sometimes not even exit too quick either. So the 4 stages are, I'm going to keep it in not even what the institutions name them. Pretty much, we're in a bottom stage. So this is the rock bottom. It's a basing kind of stage where prices in a range. It doesn't have to be a super tight range. Sometimes it's very volatile, but it's in a range. So we're going sideways. So it's stage 1. Then stage 2, we are advancing, or we are in an uptrend. And then you'll see a stage 3. As stage 3 is similar to the bottom, it's where price is not pushing up anymore. And stage 4 is when we are just declining or in a downtrend. Now, I do want to say that in an asset like the S&P, it is naturally upward drifting. So a lot of times the stage 3, which is the topping stage, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to decline after that. So, and this is for a lot of strong stocks as well. A lot of times what looks like a stage 3 is just a consolidation and becomes a bottoming for another leg higher. So taking a look at this here, this is back in 2019, and this one was a little bit more of a sharp downtrend. So we're not really seeing a huge topping stage, but you're seeing a small bit of time here where the price was failing to push up higher significantly and hold, right? So anytime the price went up, it was met with a pullback that was bigger than that advance, and then we advanced here, and then we started to really decline. So you can still call this a stage 3, so that top one before we start to decline. And I went ahead and cleared out everything off of my space except this moving average line, which is the 50 SMA. So for the purpose of this video, you're seeing when it's a stage 3, it's going to primarily be above this line. When it's declining, or stage 4, it is going to be underneath that line. So this one had a very sharp decline. Then you'll see that the bottoming stage, or stage 1, is where you're seeing the price, it's not going down any further. So you're seeing these little bites. Do y'all see this here? Do y'all see this here, where we're having these long wicks? That doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna pivot, and this was a pretty sharp pivot, but it doesn't mean we're necessarily going to pivot right away, but you're seeing bites to the upside. And this one here is a very, very short bottoming phase. And then we start to pop up, and then after we come back over this 50 SMA, we're staying up there. Now, you'll see us break the 50 SMA again here, and it is possible that at that point you might have thought, oh, another stage 3, we're topping, we're going to go down. But as I mentioned, with the S&P being an asset that drifts up, you'll see that that broke the 50, pop back up, broke the 50, pop back up, was actually more of a basing stage versus, so, think 1 and 4 can interchange all the time. And so what we did is continue to climb. So climbing. Let me scrunch this up a bit. Okay. All right. So now climbing, and we've done this for a long time. And then what do we see here? So we come down and we're like, oh, we're going down. There's all the news about the news that matches the movement, right? The news comes after. And now we've got this area here. And you're noticing that you're pushing up, pulling back, pushing up, pulling back, pushing up, pulling back. And you're like, okay, so this time, instead of building a base and climbing up further, we start to go down. So even with these little pops above the 50, remember, nothing is etched in stone. It's just more about the general movement. And then we start declining here. We're having lower highs and lower lows. And then at a certain point, we slow down this decline, and you start to see this. And I have purposely left these out because these are the ones where at these moments, this here is a more, I want to say normal. I don't even know what's normal anymore now in the market, but this here is what a more normal bottoming phase looks like versus when we were here, where it's very tight and small. Here, very tight and small topping phase. But this is what I would say is the more normal phase of like no longer can go higher, so we go down, and now we no longer can go down, so we're going up. And what this looks like, a lot of times, it takes a while to unravel. So you have this pop up, and everyone was probably thinking, oh my gosh, we're going in like in, that was in 2020, right? I don't want to miss this, so I'm putting money in. But then it breaks down. You hear her? Yep. At least you know. Now you know the face. Juniper. Hold on. I might need to pause this. All right, she's gone downstairs. So here, in my opinion, is probably where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to miss this rise. And then it just doesn't push past that. So this is, to me, a more normal, classical kind of bottoming, where we're going above and below. And a lot of times you need to give time for something, especially this comes right after the bear market. So that was a longer declining phase. So once you're in now here at this bottoming, it's going to it may take a while to unravel, and it did. So you're seeing these wide movements, and then you start to see this little tightening, and that is when you want to get interested, not on the left side of the base, but on the right side of the base. Pivots do exist. We saw that in even this year, where it's just that like tight, sharp return, but this is more of your classical digestion, and you'll see these big movements start to tighten up, and then this is where you start getting interested. We're coming out of this phase, and then boom, we start to go up. Even with this, I see that, yeah, but even with that, in general, we never come back down to that area. So this what I'm describing, you can find on your daily chart. Your weekly and monthly, you're gonna find it too, like on the bigger charts, but they're slow, right? So if I look at the monthly chart, you are not going to see, first of all, nothing under this 50 SMA. So maybe you'll see it under, if I do something a little bit, maybe this one is a 10. You'll see it dip below for a few months, dip below. But generally, we're in an upward drift kind of asset, so you're not going to see it. But the daily, and as you start coming down, the hourly, you'll see it even here, right? So this no longer pushing higher. Now it's declined. This one is more of a pivot, but you can still see this range here, right? Because this is still decision or indecision, and then we're going to push up. And then here we have this is not necessarily, you can call this a stage 3, but you'll notice that the declines are a little bit less. So we've had that run a little less. Now here we are in present day, and it's like, okay, well, we're pushing up, we're making new highs. Now what? Are we going to continue building like we did here? Or is this collectively, here, let me clean this out again. Or is this collectively becoming a topping where we're having this wide swing, tightening up and either going down or pushing up further? So the last few days we've been pushing up, and now let's get to marking our chart for the day. So, all right, where are we at? I'm gonna add in my 10 and start with the daily. So getting ready for some intraday trades looks like this. So some day trades. I'm gonna start with my previous day high, previous day low. And you want to note mentally or on a piece of paper that we pushed up from here, a higher low, and we are pushing up. So the direction is up on the daily chart. So you've got momentum to the upside. Yes, we've put in some new all-time highs. We could continue moving up from there. Or not. So moving down to the hourly chart, I'm going to go ahead and adjust. What's happening? All right, sorry, y'all. The sun is coming in and it's in my eyes. Let's see here. So I'm going to put that there, and then where was the Monday to yesterday? Wait, what day are we in? Okay, this is the Monday, Tuesday. This is a Tuesday candle. Okay, pretty good there. So we're looking, so I've boxed this in, and the only reason I've boxed it in is because this is how I do when I'm looking for my intraday or day trades. I started to fold in some more day trading because I thought it was a great way, and it has been a great way to fine tune my entries, even for my longer swings. So right now what we're looking at, and isn't this curious, right? Like, aren't you curious about this? So this was an area where price stayed in and then came down. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but we're in this area, in this range that we were in earlier, where we're hovering in it, and instead of breaking up to the upside, we broke down. Now we're back in that. So do we have now fuel to continue to press up? Direction is still up, but we are, I don't want to say extended. We are a bit high from this 10 moving average. So if we get a pullback or a gap down at the open, not a surprise, then we want to see what's next, right? So when you're making these short-term trades, a lot of the information is going to come from when the market opens. So if we get a gap up, we want to, or gap down, we want to see what price does after that. And usually in the first 15 to 30 minutes, you're going to see, you're going to get some answers or more information there. So I've got marked this previous day high, depends where we open. This is a previous day low. Even if we gap down and I see some, if we gap down and don't continue down, I'm not waiting for us to come back down to this previous day low to buy into the upside. But right now, I think that we've gapped up, come back to test, come up. I think we are going to drift sideways. So this could be a kind of like middle day where we just stay in here. So what do I want to see? For sure, we're going to come in and tag this 50 SMA here on the 5-minute chart. And then I want to see if we build a base to press up from there, or we start to go down. I was just saying that I don't think we're going to go to this previous day low, but it's not off the table for me, actually. So let's draw in our lines. And the lines that I'm drawing in are going to be based off of some previous data. So here's a turning point. And then some recent data, because we don't have this, these are new prices, right? So we don't have a lot of data here. Here is, so after this area, we couldn't push up anymore. So is the breakdown. And I've already got this one here at the top of this gap down. So that looks good. Pretty good with those lines. I don't want to overdo it. Thinking about adding one here. All right, so we had a little bit of test and rejection in this area. Well, let's put it about there. All right, a lot of lines here on the hourly, but then there'll be a little more spread out here. So a price reaching one of these lines doesn't mean anything. It just means that there's potential for it to do something different, right? So if I'm trading this to the downside, if I had the opportunity to get in, and I did not close my short yesterday, then I would around this line take some off, but I would maybe see if it would at least reach this 69.25. I think yesterday I marked 69.20 for it to retest to, which is this area here. So this rejection point here. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. A lot of the times it's just really hard to it's not hard. You just have to wait for the day to open and see what the morning gives you. So we'll be doing that in a little bit. This is how I mark my lines, you know, the previous day high, previous day low. So it's this wide range here. And now we want to see what the price does between this. If we pop above, maybe there's a retest that we can continue the momentum to the upside. And if we start to break down, I'm looking at like 6,925 and then 69.20. Will we get back all the way down to here? You know, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't think so, because who knows? Because if we're in this range-based trading, it's very possible we come back down that far. But it may not happen in the day or in a day, right? That would be a big range there. Okay, ask me questions. Thanks for listening, and have a good rest of your day, y'all.